Good day to you all our viewers. The topic of conversation for today is inductive and deductive reasoning in research. What is inductive reasoning? Inductive reasoning is a method of thinking in which a body of observation is considered to derive a general principle. Inductive reasoning consists of making wide generalizations based on specific observations. Inductive reasoning is distinct from deductive reasoning. However, in inductive reasoning, conclusions are drawn by going from the specific to the general. According to so many authors, inductive reasoning is usually contrasted with deductive reasoning, where the researcher proceeds from general information to specific conclusions. The authors mention that this kind of reasoning in research can also be referred to as inductive logic, or rather bottom-up thinking, because it involves widening specific premises out into broader generalizations. In other words, it is a kind of logical thinking that involves forming generalizations based on specific incidents that the researcher have encountered, observations that the researcher have made, or facts that the researcher know to be true or false. An inductive reasoning test measures abilities that are important in solving problems. They may also be referred to as abstract thinking tests or diagrammatic style tests. These tests determine the ability to work flexibly with unfamiliar information and find solutions. Why is it important to study inductive reasoning? One of the major importances of inductive reasoning is that in our everyday life, inductive reasoning could be used to build our understanding of the world. In addition, inductive reasoning underpins the specific approach to research in such that researchers collect information through observation and experiment, make hypotheses based on that information, and then test those theories further. What are the four types of inductive reasoning? Based on variety of evidences, there are four types of inductive reasoning. They are generalization, causal reasoning, sign reasoning, and analogical reasoning. How do we use inductive reasoning? In the application of inductive thinking, researchers examine a group of information and form general conclusions based on existing knowledge from previous experiences. How do we study inductive reasoning? We study inductive logic by examining a particular set of observations, after which conclusions are reached from such logic, and such conclusions are always expected to be true, while a deductive argument is sound if its premises are valid and true. Conclusions reached from inductive reasoning have the possibility of being manipulated. There are other similes or other similar words that can be used for inductive. They are logical, rational, commonsensical, consistent, reasoned, articulate, plausible, relevant, deductive, inferential. Three ways inductive reasoning is used. Inductive thinking is applied in a number of various ways, which each serving a particular goal. 1. We use inductive thinking in everyday life to build our understanding of the world. 2. Inductive thinking underpins the scientific approach. 3. Despite the potential for weak conclusions, an inductive argument is also the main type of reasoning in academic life. Deductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning is the mental process of drawing deductive inferences. An inference is deductively valid if its conclusion follows logically from its premises. For example, if it's impossible for the premises to be true and the conclusion to be false. In research, deductive reasoning often occurs by applying rules of inference. However, a rule of inference is a way of drawing a conclusion from a set of premises. This takes place often depending only on the logical form of the premises. A rule of inference is compelling if, when applied to true premises, the conclusion cannot be false. A particular argument is valid if it follows a compelling rule of inference. Example of deductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning is a type of deduction used in science and in life. It is when you take two true statements or premises to form a conclusion. What are the inductive versus deductive reasoning compared? While deductive reasoning moves from universal premises to a precise conclusion, inductive reasoning moves from precise premises to a universal conclusion. While deductive reasoning is top-down strategy, inductive reasoning is sometimes regarded to as bottom-up strategy. Inductive reasoning relies on inferences made from assumptions. For example, the sun will rise tomorrow because the sun always rises in the morning. Another example could be if a person has only ever seen birds that are white before, so the person will always assume that all birds are white. In conclusion, inductive reasoning is often based on the evidence given. Thank you, our viewers, for your attention. This is all that I will be able to share here. There are a lot to talk about in this subject which I cannot cover in this content. Send me your queries and let the conversation continue. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channels so that we shall be motivated to continue to provide more interesting content to you. Goodbye and see you again next week. Thank you.